Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Savvy Cast. This is Jamie, and I'm thrilled that you're here today, whether you're watching on YouTube or listening to the podcast. Today is going to be a super short, super practical episode. I am already in full gear prepping for the holiday season. In particular, today, I want to share tips that will hopefully be helpful in prompting you to think about the same thing I'm thinking about, and that is getting the house in order before the holiday, which brings family, friends, parties, people on vacation. So the home is where I'm going to start. There are lots of different things to do to prep for the holidays, but I'm going to talk about basically today getting your house in order and getting it fresh and ready for your people. And I've already done some of this today. And to be frank, some of these things are things that I totally do not have on my radar. And the first thing I'm going to mention, I accidentally, because I dropped something in the laundry room and I was down low in front of my washer. I was sort of on the floor picking something up that I saw at the very bottom left front of my washer, that little latch that you open the door to drain and then to clean your filter. I thought, oh, mercy, when have I done this last? So I did it. So I'm going to start with that because that's one of a few things that we can all do that will make our home a little bit fresher, a little bit cleaner, a little bit ready for our people. So guys, I was in the laundry room, saw that latch, and because I address the issue that is behind that door, which is draining and then cleaning your filter, I had to take a picture, upload it to Chat GPT and say, what do I do with this? So Chat told me what to do and I did it, and it's super simple. And this is probably, if you have a front loader, exactly what you would do as well. There is a little hose. It doesn't stretch out far, and it has a little plug at the end. And then there is a circle about the size of maybe a lemon, and you can take the front. There's like a disc you can unscrew to remove. The first thing you do is you pull out the little hose and get a bowl, and you take the plug out and you let it drain. It's just a drain, and you're draining, I guess, water that has backed up or excess water. It's been forever since I've done this. I probably got a fourth of a cup of water. It wasn't like crazy dirty, but there were a few like strips of what looked like a brown film, sort of like when milk maybe scalds and then there's like a little film on top of milk. It was a brown version of that. So I threw all that away and plugged that back in, pushed it back in, and then I took the face off of the filter, pulled the filter out. And again, the filter wasn't like scary dirty, but it had some pieces of string with little pieces of fabric that evidently something had gotten caught and gotten lodged in there. So I had to work hard to extract several pieces of cloth and string that had gotten wadded up in the filter, which of course that can cause the filter not to work as well. It can be obstructed. On the inside, and then the several areas of the filter was that brown film looking debris. So I went and I ran it. I swished it in soapy water. I got a toothbrush that I use for cleaning, and I got all of that off, cleaned it, put it back in, and I feel really good about it. So not sure how often you're supposed to do it, but I felt good that I am at least going into the holidays with my washer, the filter cleaned, and the excess water out. So then I went over to the cupboard and I pulled out, and I do this pretty regularly, probably once a month, once every 6 weeks. I got one of the dishwasher pods, tablets, they're sort of gel packs, threw it in, and I have on my washer, clothes washer, I have a cycle for cleaning the tub, the inside of the unit. So I threw the pot in, started running that because that will just freshen it, clean it. And I have stopped using laundry detergent. So I feel like my tub is going to get a lot cleaner and stay cleaner. I've just been hearing a lot about how, and it's probably the film that I saw that on the filter and that came out in the water. Fabric softener can dry and leave residue and gummy, sticky. So anyway, I'm using, instead of fabric softener now, I'm using the wool, New Zealand wool dryer balls. I throw 3 to 5 at a time, and they do a beautiful job of keeping things wrinkle free. And if you remove things while they're still hot, as soon as the dryer turns off, you can usually shake them out, put them on a hanger, and you'll have very few wrinkles. Okay, so that's the washer. We've got the washer all situated. Went over to the dryer, and I did clean the filter, which I do that regularly, but I sort of went a little further, and I got all down in the crevices and just checked inside to see if there was anything that needed attending to, and the dryer was pretty much fine. Then I got this, and I'll link to everything. I got this attachment. It's sort of like a flat dust mop, and I just ran it underneath both of the washer and the dryer because we don't typically clean under there. And in addition to coins and an earring, there was a lot of dust bunnies. So I was glad to get that out. So washer, dryer, and then underneath, check. Done that for the year. I have a sink with a disposal in the laundry room, and this also applies to, because I am doing it in my kitchen as well. Any place that I have a disposal, I like to do a freshen up and run the disposal. And all I do is get about a half a cup to a cup of baking soda, and then about the same amount. And there's probably a official proportion. I just do about a cup of each. I first put in the baking soda, then pour in the distilled white vinegar, just the cheap vinegar from the grocery store. And then I let it sit for about 15 minutes. It'll bubble. And then after 15 minutes, I will run the hottest water and I will turn on the disposal. And that gets it fresh and clean, and it will rinse out any residue or debris. So I do that in all of my disposals. Now that I'm in the kitchen, I also do these pods, and I know you all have seen them. They are everywhere that you can buy cleaning supplies. And I think the brand that I use, but there are myriad brands. I think I use a Fresh. I think I use the same brand that I use to clean my tub of my front-loading washer. But they are these, they're like bottles that you turn upside down. You take the cap off and you turn them upside down and you put them in the bottom rack of your dishwasher and you run a cycle. And it cleans the inside of your dishwasher. It gets rid of like greasy residue, odors. And guys, I run my dishwasher. There's probably no more overworked appliance in my house than a dishwasher. I run it all the time. So I do that. I try to do that regularly because if I don't, I can start smelling the dishwasher. And you have to think about it. It has a heavy job. It is breaking up all that food, and it's got the turning arm at the bottom, the spray arm at the top. It's got the filter, and that leads me to the second thing that I did today, and that, is a great thing to do. And that's go ahead and clean the filter in your dishwasher. Now, my dishwasher, yours probably does this too, has a signal. You'll get a signal, clean filter. If I could tell you that it is the worst times ever that I always get my signal, it's when maybe company's coming, the next day, the dishwasher's full, I've got to get out of the house, and then I get the clean filter signal. And it takes about 2 to 3 minutes. You got to take it out, you got to scrub it, put it back in correctly. So I went ahead and I cleaned the filter so that way I won't get a prompt right before the holidays. Hopefully, I don't think I will. I think I get a prompt every 12 weeks. No, I get it sooner than that, guys. I think I get a prompt every 6 to 8. So anyway, went ahead and knocked that out as well as doing the clean cycle. So I have a fresh dishwasher. And again, because it is just about the very 1st of November, this will definitely take me through Thanksgiving. I'll probably do a lot of this again right before Christmas, the few weeks before Christmas. Okay, so we have the disposals. We have the washer and dryer, and we have the dishwasher. And while we are on the subject of filters, I suggest cleaning any and every filter in your house. I have several areas that we have air filters, so I'm making sure that this week all of our air filters are changed. And then I have a central vac, which I don't know what I would do without my central vac. But basically, you plug it into outlets throughout your house, and everything goes to one big drum in your basement, and there's a filter and the drum. So I'm emptying that before the holidays as well. Okay, so another thing, and they just left my house. I had Kim Dry. Wherever you live, there are always people available who can professionally clean your carpets. They can also do headboards, chairs, upholstery. So I had them today because we had Tucker's throw up on one rug, and then we just had spots on another brand new carpeted upstairs room. And then on the 2 chairs in our den where we have small group, someone's always in those chairs, and they're white. The front, it's not an actual skirt, but it's the front part of the chair. There's scuff marks. So I had the chairs cleaned, the den rug, the spots upstairs, and then I had the stairs going upstairs. I have a leopard, sort of a leopard print going from the downstairs to the upstairs. Had the stairs cleaned, and I will say it was about $330. It feels so good to have that done. The house just smells fresher, looks better, and I had tried to clean those spots, and it only made them worse. And I'm not touching any of my upholstered chairs. I'm just not. So if you've got spots and if you've got some things that you can't get out, I guess it's no better time than now, before the holidays, to go ahead, write a check, and have that taken care of. And maybe get your stairs, if you have stairs that are used to go to main parts of your house and they're visible from the entryway, like our stairs going upstairs, like you see them when you walk in, it was $75. I said, oh, by all means, clean those. And they look so good because they get a lot of wear and tear. So that's just one thing you can knock out. Another thing, and we do have this service bi-weekly just because we have a large lot size and Zane just could not keep up with it if he tried. But if you don't have this regularly, it might be a good time to get someone over to mow and blow. And even if you do your own mowing and blowing, I don't know where you all are, if this is happening, but we literally have got these. Zane said they're acorns. Our driveway is covered. It is covered, and they break, they crack. I feel like they're going to puncture my car tires, and they're everywhere. So we're going to, this week, we'll have our service. They're going to blow those acorns, freshen everything up. We might get a little pine straw. I need to look at my front door. Zane accidentally broke. We had 2 topiaries that flanked our front doors, and he actually accidentally broke one. It had silk faux triple boxwood topiaries. Each one had one of those in it. So the topiary broke. So did the pedestal. Everything broke. So we have one topiary with a silk boxwood topiary, and the other side is blank. And let me just give you a heads up. If you are in need of front door canisters, urns, that sort of thing, this is the worst time to be in need of that. They're more replete, more available, more cost efficient in the spring. So we just may have a funny looking front door. It may not be its best, but anything outside that maybe will be seen by your guests, just pay for someone, or just remember, just sort of freshen it up and just do it right before you have guests if you don't want to do it like right now, because acorns are probably going to keep falling and leaves are going to keep falling. We're in that time of year where it's hard to keep everything tidy. But if you need pine straw, now's a good time to do it. We always have a few areas where we need it. So I think we're going to just freshen up the pine straw. But those kind of things are the kind of things that do make a difference before the holidays. Okay. Window cleaning is something that I pay someone to do twice a year. Pay for them to do it right before the holidays. So I'm going to probably get that scheduled in the next few weeks because it's almost November. And then I do it in the spring after our hard pollen. In Alabama, pollen will start. It's usually March, April, and it will go and it goes hard. But when it stops, the yellow that sits and that you just every single day it comes. But once it stops, at least here, you might get certain types of pollen, but it's not the pollen that just messes up everything. So twice a year, we pay for like Window Hero. And guys, I'm telling you, it is not that expensive. It's always, I think, less than 200 or right around 200. And they clean inside and outside, upstairs, down, anywhere. They'll clean inside your garage doors, outside. And that is something Zane and I have decided is worth paying for it to be done, because the equipment, doing it right, it is hard. You can't just get Windex and paper towels and make it look good. And we've got a lot of places we can't reach. And let me tell you, my midlife friends, none of us need to be on a ladder. We just don't need to be on a ladder. So that is a good investment, and it's one that can keep you from possibly falling and ruining your holiday. So windows are a thing, and we just farm that out. Okay, another thing, and I've lumped this into house, and I did this today because we have small groups, so I'm already semi-functioning as if it's the holidays, because we have our couples that come over about every other week, so we're already in entertaining mode. If you're pulling out holiday china or stemware that you do not use often, maybe it's in storage. I store mine in the garage outside, which is covered, but it's in like an armoire that's outside. And if it's not used or cleaned regularly, it will gather dust. So instead of forgetting to clean that and then pulling it out the day of or the day before and saying, oh my goodness, these have dust, and then having to run the dishwasher the day of a party, I have gone ahead and planned tomorrow to clean in the dishwasher all of my holiday china and all of my holiday stemware. And then anything that I'll be using that I don't regularly use, like any pieces of silver, anything that needs to be cleaned, I'm going to go ahead and do that, and it's done. And what I'm doing with all of my flatware, and this has been a game changer for me, guys. We used to buy with our co-leaders, because we have like 24 people every Monday night for our small group. We were doing a lot of heavy duty plastic utensils that, well, of course, we would throw away. And we do use paper plates because, guys, it's just busy. We do it every week. We're not washing plates and stemware and all of that. But I have found these caddies. They are very inexpensive. And they look like rattan, but they're more of a polymer, plastic-ish, but they look like wood. And you have 3 slots, and you have a little thing you can carry. I have purchased several of those, and I have been using my real flatware every time I entertain. And when we're done, I just throw it in the washer, because flatware is not problematic. It's easy to wash. And then when it's dry, I just, instead of putting it in a case in a drawer, which makes it difficult to think about, pull out, it's just more laborious. I have those caddies. I put salad forks and regular forks in one hole. Then I put my knives in another, and then the spoon in the other. And I've got several of those. And then I keep them stored like that in one of my buffets behind a cabinet. So pulling out my flatware, it's always washed, it's always separated, and it's ready to pull out and sit out where all the food is for people to grab. Super easy. And I'm going to link to those. I want to say each one of those caddies is right at 20-ish something. Fabulous. It's been a game changer for me. Napkins. Disposable is fine, but I was in, I believe, TJ Maxx the other day, and I've also seen these on Amazon and different places. You can buy bulk napkins. I want to say 24 to 30 napkins for under like $20, $25. And if they get soiled, you can toss them. If they don't, just wash them, iron them, and use them later. But if you're just having one party, one episode of people eating, it is nice during holidays to have cloth, and you can get bulk, and it's not going to be like you've spent a whole pretty penny at Williams Sonoma and you get that lump in your stomach when someone wipes red lipstick on it. It's no stress, but I do enjoy getting those. Last but not least, I plan next week to actually clean out and scrub down my refrigerator. And then I plan to clean out, I don't really scrub it because it doesn't get that dirty, but I'm going to clean out and throw away all the excess from my freezer, the side by side. I love going into the holidays where I'm buying products that I don't normally buy to make desserts that I don't normally make. And my freezer and my fridge might look a little bit different. But when guests are over and if someone happens to go to your fridge, it's so nice if they open the door and it's clean and organized. So I'm going to do that next week and it will just feel great. I will tell you, I'm going to end on one tip. This will lend itself to a fresh and festive smelling home. And I do this year round. And if you know me, if you're one of my inner circle that we talk about just everything. In fact, I was small group last night, my friend Deb, and she knows this about me. She had a candle burning. Our small group was at her house, and it was more of a pumpkin, sort of a creamy fall candle. I said, "Oh, that smells so good." And she said, "Well, I bet you have your Fraser fir out." And I said, I do, guys. I keep Times Fraser fir candles and what I'm about to tell you year round. Now, maybe in the spring, midsummer, I might veer from that, but I've never found a home fragrance that I love more. It's like the yummiest Christmas tree from the North Pole. It's clean. It just smells like Christmas. It's just so yummy. So I have those candles, but what I love to do, and I do it year round, I have a huge sink, and I don't ever buy a divided sink. I learned very early on, when you buy a sink that is divided, you don't have any options other than to use the divider amount that you have. So I bought like the biggest sink I could find, and then I keep a big bowl of sudsy water at all times. So I have my huge sink, and if I need that whole huge sink to bathe 2 babies, to put 2 huge cookie sheets, I take the bowl out and I have my sink. But most of the time, my huge bowl with the warm, sudsy water is there, and that big bowl acts as my small sink. I throw utensils in, throw coffee cups after I use them, soak them before I put them in the dishwasher. And here's my tip. I buy the Times Fraser Fir dish soap, and that's what I use for my sudsy water. So my kitchen sink, if you walk over to the sink to wash your hands, because that bowl of sudsy water is always there, you're smells like a Christmas tree farm. I also, and I'll link to all of this, if you want to get your own clear or fragrance-free dish soap, you can buy a vial of the Times Fraser Fir diffuser oil. You can add some drops to that, and you can do it that way, or you can add those drops. But I keep several bottles of all of that because I like my kitchen smelling like Fraser Fir. Okay, so those are just some practical tips that I hope are helpful to you. If you have any that you'd like to share, send them my way, and I'll definitely share them with my people. And I'm grateful to you all for following along. And as always, until next time, be blessed and stay savvy and have a fabulous rest of your day.